those of you who have followed this channel for a while, and welcome back to Spector Creative, I'm a big-time toy collector. I'm also a toy maker, which is what makes this channel unique, but I'm talking more about collecting in this one, less making, so let's talk about it. And we're talking about Star Wars toys. Shocker. So yeah, I love collecting Star Wars toys. I've been collecting them my entire life. My modern collection is basically trying to complete the vintage line in modern, if they would just release that Imperial Dignitary. Now, aside from the Hasbro Star Wars 3 3/4 figures, there's another 3 3/4 line, the Disney Droid Factory line. This line's available in a few different ways. It started off as a program at the theme parks to allow kids, and okay, let's just call it is what it is, adults, to make their own astromech and eventually protocol droids by mixing and matching parts, providing you with lots of bins with different shapes, colors, and types where you can mix and match and essentially make exactly the droid you want. In fact, I made R2ND here that I made when I visited Disneyland, actually, quite a few years ago. So, yeah, you can pretty much make the astromech droid of your dreams. And for, again, kids and, let's face it, adult collectors, this is a really cool way to not only get a Star Wars toy, but one that is custom to your specific likes. And in addition to all of the regular droid parts, there's kind of the silly parts that they also give you. Things like holiday hats and, Disneyland Mickey ears. And, I mean, heck, I use the Indiana Jones fedora. But, of course, there's legitimate droids, too, that don't have these silly parts. And aside from the Make-A-Droid, you can also buy sets of characters that actually Hasbro has not gotten to, such as these characters from The Mandalorian, or droids. Droids are characters, too. All right, so kind of the big question, then, is, are these off-camera, non-canon droids legitimate Star Wars action figures, or are they just novelty items? Do they need to be part of a collection? Well, the thing is, some of the droids they're putting out are original characters from the original trilogy, and the new stuff too, but since I'm an original trilogy fan, that tends to be where I'm focused. So this particular droid, which has gone through actually a couple names, R2S4M, Jabba's drinking droid, or Jabba's bartender droid, which was offered by Hasbro. It came out in a droid pack that Adam Paulus at Entertainment Earth put together, and actually really went out of his way to get droids from throughout the entire saga, and droids that had never been made before in any line at the time. So we didn't have a R4 Sam. In fact, he used to be called R2Q6, but apparently he has a new name now, and that's kind of what gets confusing, because we have the old Hasbro one on the left and the Disney one on the right, and I mean, these honestly look like two completely different decos, right? I mean, are they really supposed to be the same droid? That's a lot of difference. Granted, the reference for this droid is not the greatest. It's basically limited to a few behind-the-scenes photographs and some blurry images on screen. But the point being is that Hasbro made a legitimate, licensed action figure of this character, and now it's been renamed by Disney after a Cheers character? I don't know, maybe. I mean, it's not exactly the, first time that Star Wars and Cheers have overlapped. Don't look too closely, of course, because walking around Echo Base is none other than Cliff Clavin there. All right, so let's get back to these Droid Factory figures, whether they're assembled by fans or sold carded. It is a mix match of legitimate characters from the films and what I would call novelty droids for things like holidays and special occasions. They even have, Pride Day sets of rainbow-colored droids. R2 definitely did not wear a sombrero, and being able to make creative, fun novelty toys is a part of the hobby. But now that we're also getting legitimate characters, does that mean these novelty droids are also canon? Do they need to be part of a complete Star Wars action figure collection? Some of the droids they're making are from the new Disney Plus, and characters that Hasbro has not made yet. So the only way you could get, EMO, whatever he's called, from, Andor is through Disney. Or this is another interesting example. They put out a fully articulated Forlorn figure, which arguably is actually better than the figures put out by Hasbro as far as deco and even articulation. It looks more like the robot, I think, than we've ever seen. Even the height is corrected. So with Disney putting out better product than Hasbro, and of course they don't have to pay a licensing fee, which is why they can put more into the toy, and that's a big thing. Hasbro has to pay a huge licensing fee. And when you don't have to pay that, well, you can put that money back into the toy, which means the Disney figures, which retail for the same amount, are better toys. They have better deco, they're more articulated, and they're more correctly sized. They're the correct scale. You can even see with the Astromix that the Disney one is a better scale, and holds up. In fact, you can actually pull him apart because he's a Build-A-Droid, but that's not important right now. The point is, I'm on this kind of fence. These are great looking toys, and the figures that are being sourced from the film are coming out often better than the Hasbro product. But combine that with the novelty-esque of the sombreros and the Disney hats and the holiday themes. The question is, if you are a Star Wars action figure collector, do you also need to buy the Disney droids? Well, even more specifically drilling down, do you need to buy the Disney droids that are sourced from content, as opposed to, again, the many droids that are sourced from what I would call holidays or novelty? Now, personally, I can put the novelty product into its own basket and feel like, okay, I don't feel like I don't have a complete collection if I don't have, the R2-D2 colored after candy corn. But when it comes to figures that are in the movies, it looks like the Disney droids are better. They are more accurate, and they cost about the same amount. So is this the same line? Is it a separate line? Are they combined? Do we keep them together? Honestly, I'm kind of asking you guys, what do you think? I mean, Disney versus Hasbro, same character, but they wind up looking completely different. I mean, would you even say these two droids are the same character? They're not even close to the same deco. All right, I'm curious what you guys think. Do you consider the Disney Droid Factory canon as far as toy collecting, or are they novelty? Let me know in your comments below, and love to discuss. Thanks as always for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.